irrelevant information.
Yeah, but at the same time, how much does numbers truly say? You can't really use it as a firm reference
When it's
every
a hero
time.
that has the best win rate against it, like as a
Yeah.
compared to the average,
There's such a
think it says
large
something.
sample size that it has a lot of weight.
Yeah, but if it beats a certain hero 70%, let's say 70%.
This is Ben saying the stats mean something. Ben only hates
Yeah,
using numbers and
I do.
stats. So.
I do.
Yeah, because in Dota the stats can only mean so much, you know. So
I think he's more saying that it's so overwhelming.
Yeah.
That you can't really ignore it.
Yeah, normally I'd be like, a few points, wiggle room here
this
and
is
there.
like 2 points. Okay.
Yeah,
I mean,
but
it's so he's saying like it's big enough that it says something.
It's huge.
It's huge. Anyways, Evil Genius says this actually looks like it could be the bare bones of maybe a push strat that they like to run sometimes. Although they don't run the Chen.
The classic EG is like Radiant side you want to push, Dire side you want to Rosh.
Yeah, that's been their style for a very, very long time.
Every lineup that they run, though, has always been around Rosh control. Every single time that we saw them play, even when we were casting them at like MLG, for example, good Roshan fight, they'll take it. Because even if you get the Aegis, EG understands better than any other team is. It doesn't matter if they have the Aegis, it matters the positioning you enter the fight. If you're able to surround a team and kind of close in on them and not let them play the space game, EG's gonna always take that.
Winter Wyvern coming out, something that usually EG even favor picking up. Is this something that is going to be synergetic for complexity, or does part of it almost feel like a deny grab? We know Winter Wyvern to be pretty damn good against a Wisp.
I don't think it's a deny grab at all. I think firstly it's pretty. People like to pick it against Beastmaster because the inner beast would actually turn on your teammate when you Winter's Curse.
Yeah.
Secondly, it's really good against push, like we saw Vici use versus Fnatic.
That's Splinter Blast.
Yeah,
Very
the
good
Splinter
outspam.
Blast is godly.
And you can't like damage heroes during the Winter's Curse, but you can as a setup. So like as the Winter's Curse is about to end, that's when you can throw your Avalanche. Wouldn't be surprised to see you can play like transition into something that can kind of synergize with the Winter's Curse as well. I feel like this is like very much. I mean, Swindles, he had pages and pages of notes and drafts. I saw him this morning. He seemed confident. He had clear strategies and drafts he wanted to do for game 1, game 2, and I'm sure this is something that he's kind of anticipated.
Do you think EG smiles at complexity when they walk by in the elevator? No, he was like, Godlike, he does. QO, he does too. They all smile at me. I know we're going to have a good game. But he never said anything about EG. I wonder if they smile.
I feel like we never see EG like around. I feel like they're almost like machines. Like they're up there, they're grinding their practice, they come down, they resupply, they eat, they refuel, and they go off and go back to the station.
They had a team interview or something. I was like, oh, EG's down here. They're in their jersey.
We are here to compete. We are EG. Lion going to be grabbed up here. Like the PPD grab. Hefty burst, very good against the Wisp to kind of take him out.
It's good versus the Embrace too. Like you want to have some sort of magical burst against that.
Doesn't Lion have like a 100% win rate or something ridiculous?
At this tournament?
Really?
I don't know. It's pretty high.
I
was looking at the
I thought he lost so many games. I thought he lost so many games because
there was games where it looked like it was going to be losing.
Did he lose
and
games?
Like the game where Lanham played it and had a showing.
Yeah. Maybe it lost like one game yesterday, but I think like prior to yesterday, it won like 4 out of 4, 5 out of 5.
Is that just coincidence, or do you think Lion is turning to be that valuable of a grab?
I think it's really good. Especially if
lens.
you... Yeah, it's that, and if you run a secondary greedy support, Lion can actually play your hard 5, and he can alternate to the 4 as well. And that was the other hero that goes along with it, right? If they play this aggressive style, it's like usually the Beastmaster and the Void and the Clinks.
yeah, because it sort of balance. His Lion's a bit weak in the lane, so you want to carry that. He's a little bit stronger. Don't need much help. Can zone the off lane.
EG only have, at least according to DOTA, 3 games with Clinks coming into
Do you
this event
think?
with
Do you think they'll
2-1
still go
record.
back for Enigma against the Wisp? Is it still possible for their lineup?
If they do Beastmaster as a...
Yeah, Beastmaster as a call, obviously.
Yeah, well, the Clinks is Arteezy's hero typically.
Yeah,
Beastmaster as a
So
4.
this puts Nature's... Well...
Universe should be playing the Nature's Prophet.
Yeah.
And then the Beastmaster is a question mark.
Yeah, the
I thought-
Beastmaster's question mark.
I thought it was going to be, when you see the 2 openers, I thought it was going to be Nature's Prophet off lane, Beastmaster support, Lion support, Clinks carry.
Yeah.
Definitely versatile. Give EG that. And I'm sure Swindle may have prepared a lot, but this is a very deep draft right now coming out from EG.
I guess if they go Enigma, then their cost might be a little too weak.
I don't like
they don't
the
have enough
matchup
damage.
versus the Wisp 2 in the mid lane. I think
For Beastmaster, you mean?
yeah. So.
So it's better for them to have Beastmaster
Support.
plus Prophet dual lane possibly, because it's gonna be dual lanes.
And Complexity are banning some of those mid
Mhm.
for starters.
Tide is really good against the Beastmaster. Especially the playstyle too.
And
You can just
Kraken,
counter run at people.
it's like the Kraken as well. He can't really raw you, can't really burst you down
Yeah.
that easily.
How do you guys feel about Invoker for EG? Bad against IO Tiny mid?
It's pretty weak though, but
Fits like the overall strategy.
yeah, it
though.
fits their overall strategy with the raw, Sunstrike, and Prophet. But it seems like they do need some sort of extra firepower from the mid hero.
Timbersaw, man. 3 strength heroes.
What about
good versus Cold Embrace?
Golden Embrace.
But he's not very good like against the if you're putting him mid.
yeah.
He's not really good versus IO Tiny lane.
I don't think they ran it ever mid either. It was almost always safe lane for Sumail, and then they gave RTZ the farming mid back in that era. But that was when like SF was still really viable too.
I think I've seen some teams try to run Prophet mid versus.
How well do you think it will work? Like you just send the treants
You
to
send treants to harass.
harass the IO all the
Yeah.
time?
Yeah, you can also like have the treants on you too, so you don't get tossed back. I've seen it. I've seen it a few times.
Yeah, but don't you still die easily if he just run at you like with the tether?
Cole is also thinking, by the way, it's going to be a Beastmaster support.
Yeah.
Ban out the Puck, Lina, and OD.
I'm very curious what Sumail is going to be.
It's very
put on.
difficult to tell, you know, what direction are EG gonna go here. There's so many possibilities.
What about for complexity though?
They need
I
a
mean,
safe lane.
Seems pretty cut and dry for them.
For complex, well, they can always do IO Tiny. It's just something that's been theorycrafted a lot, which I'd still love to see from complexity, is that core Jakiro.
Yeah, in mid lane, Jakiro was something a certain Swindle was boasting a bit about. Archon kind of gave their turn with it, but in the hands of complexity, we'll have to see. The team of brotherly love, if you will.
He always jokes about that. He said Complexity is just like the best team because they have 2 sets of brothers, so they can say whatever they want to each other, like yell and scream, and can't do anything.
Oh, Phantom Lancer is going to be the choice here.
They have a very, very solid draft. Like right now they have D push, like good D push, good split push, and they have like good initiation to use the relocate, they have the curse, and you know, to utilize the relocate. Like everything seems really balanced. They have a bit of everything.
Oh, here we go.
Good
Look at
lanes
these
as well.
guys. Who else gets ramped up and ready like this?
Let's see what they pick, and then all laugh.
And then they all, like, cloud falls over their head like, we didn't expect that.
I've never seen a team do this.
It's kind of great to see. Like they're a true
have the
team.
most camaraderie of anyone else, and we know Swindle will be probably one of the most emotionally driven players in the game right now.
You know, he says like at TI5, he said his team, they had like a chant and everything. He really feels teamwork aspect is necessary. He like stressed that to me. He said, "You really have to believe it's us against the world for something like this to succeed."
And he believes it's not just about like the 5 guys. Like he builds like a whole like team support system around them. Like they have their chef here with them who like was cooking in their team house. They bring out like they have a whole support team.
Like look, he's doing the chanting.
Oh, they go with the Ember Spirit grab to counter the PL at the end. It looks like it will be the Sumail grab. So now that we see the 5-man spread from EG, let's quickly throw out some predictions and how you think it might go.
I think Complexity's draft looked really solid this game.
I really like Complexity's draft
I'm
as well.
favoring their draft.
And the Ember is a good counter to the PL, but I think the Ember is going to have a tough time against IO Tiny. It's just
Their lane is weak, like a lot weaker than Complexity's lane.
So couch 2 is a dire couch. What do you guys think over here?
I'm with EG. I think they're gonna actually change the lanes up to something that's gonna be very favorable for them.
Lynx is just gonna go insane. I don't think they have enough individual lockdown for him. They have to commit the Ravage just to kill him, honestly.
Very appropriate. So we have a Radiant couch and a Dire couch here. Should be some fireworks to lead out our first series of the day. Evil Geniuses versus Complexity. Game number 1. Let's go ahead and send it over to our casters now. Gentlemen, have some fun.
Dakota, it's myself, Fody Pixel and Drastel, and we're here ready to bring you game 1 of EG versus Complexity. As they said on the panel, a lot of tensions between these two sides. There's a little drama. It's going to make the matchup that a bit more fun. Behind the scenes, there have been people talking up Complexity. I was talking to Boba the other day. He said, watch out for Complexity. They've got a chance. Of course, Chaos, one of the top 20 NA teams.
Yeah, I think this is definitely something to watch out for if you're EG, because like Winter was saying on the couch, I'm actually also fairly partial to Complexity's draft. I do feel like it offers you so much mobility during the mid game with the IO Tiny. Your team fight's fantastic. You have late game secured with the PL and the Tiny as well. So I don't know. It could go either way. The thing that I'm really curious about from EG's side is seeing how the support Beastmaster ends up working out. This is something that has been done a really long time ago, but with the introduction of Iron Talon, obviously it should be quite a bit better than it used to.
And in terms of just the overall draft, we're seeing the Wyvern, you know, used. It's obviously the changes. Do you still think this hero has got a really good position in this current meta, especially against, I guess, lineups that have like your Nature's Prophet and the Beastmaster, where you know the group push is going to come?
Pretty strong for sure. See if there's a fight going on here at the bottom rune. Looks like they're just going to go ahead and complexity walk away with both bounty runes, actually. Kind of surprising that they're able to get both that easily. So as far as the Winter Wyvern goes, I think that if you get a good Winter's Curse during the mid-late game, you can get a hero like even Ember killed, especially if you catch Arteezy with it, for example. Like Clinks is known for his monstrous single target damage output, and Ember doesn't typically build into items that give him survivability per se. It's all about the damage and like Blink Dagger for mobility. You don't really want to get caught, so I think that it can work. It's also a great way to give yourself extra bit of D-push. Can't really forget that Splinter Blast wasn't touched too much. It was pretty much just the ultimate that got nerfed really hard, or changed, I guess, if you want to call it that. So I do think that the lanes even are looking all right for complexity here.
Do you see how the matchups do go? Bottom lane, Arteezy getting a bit of aggression here from Z-Freak and Jesse. And be careful, Artur. Turn around, trade some hits back onto the Wyvern. But as a whole, as you said, in the laning stage, you feel that complexity definitely have the potential to come out with a bit of an edge.
I think that the lanes are actually, like Tidehunter versus Furion, both of these heroes are more or less going to farm, but it's going to be very difficult to actually pressure the Tidehunter in the situation. And then obviously bottom, it's a 2v1, so Clinks is going to have a really hard time doing anything about it, and a roaming Beastmaster can't really relieve any pressure from either the mid or the bottom lane whatsoever. So if he's walking down there to try to help, I mean, he can put a boar on maybe the Winter Wyvern and they can throw out a couple of auto attacks, but as far as lane pressure goes, it's not going to be too extreme. In the mid matchup, you have Limp versus Handskin, and it feels like this is probably one lane where EG could potentially win, especially if the IO is not careful, like going for a rune. I could see him easily getting caught out by double disable. But can you see a toss back here?
Yeah, Samael in a bit of trouble, tossed straight under the town. This could be your first blood. Limp and Hanskin chasing him down. Samael with the chains and the fair fire, keeping himself alive at 20 HP. He pops the south. The toss isn't going to be enough to burst him. Samael, he says, Roshan, take me! But no, the freak comes across the cliff, gets themselves first blood. Samael, he was looking for the plays, but wasn't quite able to get to Roshan in time.
He was definitely not expecting that toss back. It's something that's very hallmark of a tiny mid too. So I'm kind of surprised that Sumail let himself get caught out by that. Excellent rotation too from Z-Freak. As soon as he sees him running towards bottom, he just assumes that it's either going to be Roshan or he's going to be going for the rune, right? So he just making that standard movement ends up giving him the first blood. So good stuff.
Swindles, and at PPD eyes up Swindles. There's a bit of a stare off and they walk it away, but at the complexity get that edge here. I'm interested to see what the Tiny goes for. In this kind of game, do you think we are going to see the Tiny go straight for the Blink, or do you imagine we'll see drums, Aghanim's from the Tiny that we see sometimes?
You can kind of argue both, but I think it's more common to go for Blink Dagger when you don't have another hero who gives you initiation. So for example, yesterday we saw Tiny, and he was on a team with 2 Blink Dagger initiating heroes, and he was more of like the position 1. I think in this game, you're looking to Chessie to carry you on the PL, so you don't really need to go for like the drums, Aghanims. Having the blink for relocates can secure you kills on a lot of members of EG. The Beastmaster and the Clinks with Death Pact are going to be the 2 most durable. The other ones are pretty easy to take out.
We're at the moment just picking up some levels here in the jungle. The double boars and the Talon. 3 at the moment, so getting a decent amount of XP CS-wise. Artur at the beginning, we saw him having a bit of a tough time on the Clinks, but he's really caught back up. He's now 3rd on the board, and it is EG themselves just slightly on top regards to the farm. Still very, very early days, and I think those 2, they'll be happy with that first bird onto Samael. Now, the question is, on top lane. Yes, he's given a bit of some on Swindles, trapped him up there. Burst really doing a good job of controlling this lane. That he's 20 for 8 against the 12 for 0 of the Tide.
Yeah, he's starting to edge out Swindle a bit. The fact that he gets the phase boots, like this is the point in the lane where the Nature's Prophet can start to pull ahead because you hit so hard with just the phase boots that you can start to deal damage even through the Kraken Shell. And it doesn't look like Swindle got enough money to finish his Tranquils. So this puts him in a really awkward spot where he either has to ferry regen or he's pretty much just going to let Universe free farm. And that looks to be what it's going to be for now.
Burst indeed zapping about there with those phase. And forcing Swindles back. He's 4-5 at the moment, still getting the XP on this Tide. The question is, I mean, when do you feel we're going to start to see the big rotations from either of the teams?
I think EG can move fairly early. When you have a Furion, you always can expect that, like, the Winter Wyvern could be a target you could go for if the Lion's there. PPD gets like a stun into a Hex, it could very easily be a kill. Looks like they're just going to be contesting the pull right now, but either team can make rotations. I think it's just more likely that Complexity will wait until the Tidehunter and the IO are 6, and at the very least, like, Tiny wants a few levels into Avalanche and Toss as well. Those are just the innate skill set they need to actually start to play aggressive.
Jesse, he's really doing well there on this lane now. 26 for 5 as a freak has been doing a great job in terms of keeping the Clinks at bay, so PL can still find an equal amount of farm against him. Playing Universe continues to come back in and down the Sprout. Swindles. Now going to have that level 6 online, so this may be the point where we see someone come up to the top lane, try to help out the Tide, get a kill onto Universe. The IO rotating in, leave alone against Sumail. The mid matchup in terms of last hits, Sumail on the 16 for 1, and of course Limp on the 31 for 11. So that IO did do a great job in terms of just allowing the Tiny to win that lane.
Yeah, it's a lane that's really hard to contest because Tiny being able to throw out tosses non-stop for CS, that being thrown into the tower, we saw how effective that was against Sumail when he got first blooded. The lane itself is very difficult to just straight up fight, especially considering Lion isn't known as an extremely strong lane support. He's kind of that guy who can be annoying with mana drain. You can rotate with him and whatnot, but he's not really the greatest at zoning, and he's been making transitions from bottom lane to mid all game. Sumail's actually almost level 6 right now, and with that, it becomes significantly harder for Complexity to make any sort of rotation towards him. And you can see, like, reflected by the CS as well, that EG are actually farming quite well. The fact that, like, Artor's got, like, 33 and 2 right now, and that was a dual lane pretty much. Like, Z-Freak only rotated 1 time to bottom rune, and it doesn't really feel like the lane is supposed to give him that much farm.
Mid lane, EG looking to kick someone off. Fear, he's just hit 6 in the jungle. He comes straight in with a roar onto Lim. Artor's there as well. They'll take down the Tiny, and they'll force Handschem back. I just wanted to mention just Fear, the fact that it was as if Complexity just forgotten about him. He was sat there in the jungle, got that great timing, hitting level 6 at 6 minutes in, and that allows him to just rotate in into the mid lane and come in with just an extremely effective gank that he weren't able to do anything to stop.
It's a very greedy style of play, and it doesn't really feel like Complexity supports can punish it. Like, most of the time when you see an IO in the laning phase, unless you're partnered with an extremely aggressive hero on the first couple of levels, you're not really going to find any kills, and Winter Wyvern's more or less the same. So Complexity run a static laning phase against a greedy jungler, and still aren't really getting the better of the lanes themselves. Like, look at how farmed right now this Furion is. The Universe is 48 and 9.
It's incredible.
Like, how do you justify having this laning phase if you're not actually pulling out ahead? I think the fact that EG are able to get Fear such a high level of farm during the early game, like, he's just going straight Vlads. I think just very quickly this is going to turn into a push, and they're going to have to worry about, like, 5-man Dota at a very early state. Now, granted, they have Tidehunter, but Z-Freak is going to be level 6 in due time as well.
Tide, he could be in trouble. Here we go. They're ready to make the breakthrough. RTZ coming in with the clicks. You've got Fear as well, and I think Primal Roar is just about to be available, and there it is. It's come off cooldown. He's going to use it, wants to secure themselves the kill there, and they will find it. Limp coming in with a combo onto Fear. Can he bring him down? Oh, not quite. Fear will survive. RTZ just picking off the R on the back lines. It's a double kill for Clinks. Zafreak comes in, but EG looks to get away with this one. Fear, he's going to try and juke this out. Limp coming into the tree line. Oh, Fear! Oh, he's juked him! Fear! He's still gonna die though. He's still gonna die. Limp comes across with the avalanche. Here, unfortunately, could not get himself out of that. Well, at the same time, Sumail. Did he just pick up PL whilst that was all going on? He did indeed. So Sumail getting himself a kill onto Chessie. That's gonna bring it to 4 for 2. So even though they lose Fear, I think EG will be very happy with that whole